So now we're going to look at, in our next section, we're going to look at entertainment and communication apps for travel. So many of these apps we can also use for everyday entertainment and communication, and I know I do. So let's start with Apple Podcasts. So this is an audio streaming service and media player that was developed by Apple for the purpose of playing podcasts. I'm sure you're aware of like iTunes, which is designed to listen to music on Apple devices. This Apple product is really similar. It's just for podcasts. You can search and listen to your favourite podcasts, and you can download content for when you don't have internet. And a quick reminder that Apple Podcasts is only available to iPhone users. Next, we have Google Podcasts. And this is very similar to Apple Podcasts, but it can be used by anyone regardless of what phone you have. So Google Podcasts will put you in contact with a huge collection of different podcasts that you're able to listen to at your leisure. And again, you can download these when you don't have a phone or internet reception for traveling, such as on a plane. And plus, there is the Audible app. And this app is the home of storytelling. You can explore audiobooks and podcasts, and they have all of the bestsellers and like tons of titles that you can get with your membership. Audible is available on all phones, and there's no cap to listening time, but you have to pay for a membership. And I will talk about how you can download audiobooks from your library a little bit later on. And the other podcast app that's not in here is the ABC Listen app. That will give you access to all of ABC's podcasts. So next we're going to look at Spotify, and this one you may have heard about. It is a digital music streaming service that provides instant access to a massive online library of music and podcasts. You can get the free version and listen to ads every now and then, or you can subscribe for a monthly fee. And if you subscribe, you have unlimited access to the biggest collection of online music, podcasts, and even audiobooks. This would be my favourite app. I reckon I use this app multiple times a day. And now we have TuneIn, and this is a global audio streaming service that provides access to news, radio, sports, media, and podcasts. And you can find and listen to radio stations from all around the world. And next, we have another one that I'm sure you have heard of before, and that is Netflix. So Netflix is a subscription-based streaming service that allows their members to watch like TV series, movies, documentaries, stand-up specials, all on an internet-connected device. What I really love about the app is you can download things for when you don't have internet. And I find it to be really good entertainment for when I'm traveling on a plane and I don't have to rely on in-flight entertainment. Now, if you're into reading books and you don't want to carry heavy books around, these are the apps for you. They can be accessed on a smartphone or a tablet, and it means you can access hundreds of books. There are several different apps you can choose between, like there's Kobo, Amazon Kindle, Google Play Books, and Apple Books. They're all slightly different, and some you pay a monthly fee to access, and others you pay for each title you wish to read. I know I use Kobo a lot, mostly because my mum buys the books and I get to read them after her. The other thing you can do is you can also borrow eBooks and audiobooks from your library. There's an app called BorrowBox that will assist you to do so. And so if you're unsure of how to do that, and they're all free of charge, which is the best thing, but if you need help, walk into your local library and they will be able to assist you to download the apps that you need. And then you can access audiobooks for free from your library and eBooks as well, which is really fantastic. And finally, the last apps in this section we're going to look at are communication apps. And you might use some of these apps every day, such as WhatsApp, Facebook, or Facebook Messenger, and of course there is Google Translate, which we'll talk about in a minute. And these apps are great for communication because they operate via the internet, which means you can send messages and make voice or video calls via the internet, which is really good when you're overseas and you want to communicate with people back home. It makes it very cheap to call, and all you need is an internet connection and there's no other cost. The other good thing about these apps is you can set up group chats. So you might have your children and their partners in a chat where you can share photos from your trip with everyone at once. And I know that in Staying Safe on Facebook, we talk about how you can create those group chats, as well as in, I think it's helpful apps for your smart device. We also talk about this as well. So if you want to know more, look into our 2026 webinar series. And for international travel, Google Translate is absolutely fantastic. This is a multilingual translation service developed by Google to translate a variety of information from one language into another. You can also use the Google Lens function to hold your camera over a menu or a product you want to purchase, and it will instantly translate it to your chosen language. You can upload documents or photos for translation, and the app has a talk button, so you can speak directly to the app and it will translate it into the language that you need. And this is really helpful for international travel. So before we move into our last section, sorry, I was just about to sneeze. We're going to do a quick poll. I want to know how many people worldwide do you think use travel apps in 2023? So I will just launch our poll for us now. Here it is. How many people worldwide do you think use travel apps in 2023? Thank you for those who have already voted. If not, just grab your cursor and you can do it too. I'll give you just another 20 seconds. I will just end it and we'll share the results. It looks like about a third of you were right. It is 85 million. The rest of you weren't far off. So great guesses there. But yeah, it is 85 million people worldwide use the travel app in 2023. We're waiting for the 2024 report. I know it's a little bit late given we're about to go into 2026, but hopefully we'll have some updated data for next year, and I suspect that number will have gone up. So we're now going to move into the final section of today's presentation and look at emergency apps and some online safety tips for you. So the first app we're going to look at is Surf Lifesaving. So this app assists you to swim, fish, or surf safely. You can instantly check conditions at all Australian beaches. And some of them even have videos and video cameras, and you can see the surf from your phone and make a decision whether you think it's worth going out for a swim or not. Next, we have the Emergency Plus app. Now, this is an app that could potentially save your life. It is a free app developed by Australia's emergency services and their government partners. The app uses GPS functionality, which is built into smartphones to help a 000 caller provide critical location details to assist emergency services to find you. The app uses a pin drop function to locate and report an emergency more accurately. And this technology is really similar to that used in Google Maps. There's also some great CPR videos and other things like that to equip you with some life-saving skills, which I hope you never actually need. So the last app we're going to look at today is the Australian Bites and Sting apps. We know that Australia has some of the most venomous creatures, and this app will support you to learn more about them and what to do in an emergency situation. So if you or someone you are with is bitten or stung, the app has instructions on what to do for bites and stings, and it's by each creature. So you can work out what bit or stung you and then what you need to do according to that. It has step-by-step guides for your doctor's ABC, and also has pressure mobilization techniques, information about the different venomous creatures, and how they might be disturbed. They also have a be prepared, like bush safety and beach safety information with a checklist of essentials for when you go out. And last of all, it has an emergency service call button you can find in location functions. And this is truly a life-saving app. So before we finish up, we're going to look at a couple of online safety tips. First and foremost, always download apps from the official App Store. So that's the Apple App Store or for iPhone users, and the Google Play Store for Android users. Avoid using links or redirects to official sites. It's a good tip to remember the app name and then go to the official App Store and download it to your phone or tablet. And we'll look at a couple of other safety tips to support you as well. If you're not sure which app was recommended, you can always look the app up in the App Store. And there are several apps with similar names and logos. You might want to ask friends or family which app they use and recommend. Sometimes I've taken a screenshot of the app and I've sent it to a friend and asking if that was what they recommended to ensure that I download the correct app. The next hot tip is to always check the app reviews. Popular apps will have millions of reviews. So if it is a really common app and there is only a few hundred reviews, I'd be very cautious and probably double check you have the correct app and not a knockoff version. So you can see here, this one has 4.8 stars out of 5, and it has a lot of ratings, 1.5 million plus ratings. It's important to also know how apps use your data and how much data they are using. So live streaming, video calling, and downloading will use more data than, say, general text and browsing. So I have my phone set to only download when I am connected to Wi-Fi, which means I won't run out of data on my monthly plan by downloading and updating my apps. You can check each app's date of use in this, like how much data it uses in the settings. So you can see here how much data some of those apps are using, and that can also be found under cellular data. So speaking of Wi-Fi, you should never enter any personal details or do your internet banking when using free public Wi-Fi. So apps that use personal information, we recommend you don't use this on public Wi-Fi because these networks are not secure and it could risk your personal information or online banking password falling into the hands of criminals. So free Wi-Fi is great for, Google Maps, not getting lost, sending photos to family and friends. But when booking accommodation and putting in your credit card details, make sure that you are not using public Wi-Fi and you are using your own network. Be Connected website has a fact sheet on how to pay safely online. You'll find this under the topic library. And over the next few slides, we'll take you through some of these safety tips. So firstly, make sure you only use trusted sites that are secure. These sites have enhanced security and it makes them safe from potential security hacks. Secondly, never visit a site from an email link or a text message from an unknown source. As a general rule, never follow a link that is sent to you. Instead, go to the web page, log in from there and complete the required action. Or if you're not sure, call the company from the phone number listed on their website. Next, it is important to only use encrypted sites. So encryption is a way of scrambling data so that only authorised parties can understand the information. So encryption takes readable data and it alters it so that it will appear random and it can't be understood by anyone except the sender and the receiver of that information. So you can tell if a site is encrypted by the start of the website. As you can see here, it has HTTPS. And you want to make sure that it has the S because that is what makes it encrypted. So you'll see in this red box that has the S showing that this site is encrypted. A non-encrypted site will just have HTTP. So when the S is missing, I know it's a very subtle difference, but it's really important to know that if the S is missing, it's not encrypted. You need to have the full S for encryption. Another good tip to remember is that if a travel deal sounds too good to be true, there is every chance that it is. So don't get caught by thinking that you'll save thousands of dollars from booking through an obscure third party. More often than not, there will be a catch or it will be a scam. So always book through trusted sites and double check that what you are paying is what you expected the cost to be or what it was advertised as. And finally, we recommend using credit cards or PayPal for safer payment options. Many credit cards come with insurance for purchases, and this is a great way to ensure that you are covered. I like to book international flights on one of my credit cards because that comes with particularly good insurance. And this means that if anything happens between booking my flights and buying travel insurance, I am covered by my credit card's insurance. Always make sure you read the terms and conditions. I know these can be lengthy, detailed, and sometimes boring, but it's really important that you know what they are and how they will affect you and your travels. Another good tip is to keep copies of all your invoices, payments, and receipts. You can do this by creating a folder in your email for that trip and keeping all of your booking confirmations there so you can easily find them when you need to. Another good tip is to make an electronic copy to keep with you when you're traveling. So this can simply be done by taking a screenshot and saving it in a folder in your photo gallery. And this benefits you as you don't need an internet connection to access the information of your booking or payment. And our final tip for today is that if you are sharing your trip on social media, make sure your settings are set to friends only, or you restrict your contact to selected people who you are comfortable with knowing that you are traveling and away from home. The last thing you want to do is let strangers know that your house is empty and risk getting broken into.